All right, let's talk about maybe the single most important part of any research paper you'll ever write. I'm talking about that first paragraph. This is it. This is your one shot to either hook your reader or lose them for good. So today, we're going to break down exactly how to get it right.
See what just happened there? That right there, that's a hook. Before I've even explained what it is, your brain is already working, right? You're kind of curious now. That is the power we are going to tap into. And honestly, it's the thing that separates a paper that actually gets read from one that just gets, skimmed and forgotten.
So why do most research papers just gather dust? I mean, let's be real for a second. The academic world is incredibly noisy. You've got thousands of papers coming out all the time. The biggest problem, and it's the one we're here to fix, is that most of them completely fail that first impression. They never give the reader a good reason to answer that silent, all-important question, okay, but why should I care?
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about that forgotten first impression. Then, I'll give you a blueprint for the whole introduction. After that, we dive deep into the art of the hook. Look at 4 techniques you can use right away. And finally, we'll put it all together, from that first sentence into a full paragraph. Let's do it.
All right, section 1, the forgotten first impression. It's so easy to think of the introduction as just a hurdle. Some formality you got to get through before you can get to the real stuff, the actual research. But honestly, that's a massive mistake. That first impression, it's literally everything.
Now, this classic definition from Wilkinson is totally on point. But the word I really want you to zero in on is framework. See, a framework isn't just a boring summary of facts. It's about building a case. It's about designing an entryway that makes someone want to step inside and see what you've discovered.
Think of it this way. Your introduction is literally the gateway to your research. It's the bouncer at the door. And your reader, they're super busy. They're glancing at the first few lines, making a split-second decision. Am I going in or am I walking away? A weak opening is basically a locked door. It pretty much guarantees that all that incredible work you did might never even be seen.
Okay, so how do we make sure our gateway is wide open? Well, just like you wouldn't build a house without a plan, you shouldn't be writing an introduction without a blueprint. Let's look at the architect's method.
So, for our blueprint, we're going to lean on this fantastic model from John Creswell. It's called the deficiencies model, and trust me, it is brilliant. Why? Because it gives you a 5-step structure that logically walks your reader from a big, broad topic all the way down to the specific, urgent need for your study. The whole thing works just like a funnel, see? You start big with the general topic, then you narrow it down to a specific problem. You talk about what we already know from the literature, and then bam, this is the magic part. You point out the deficiency, the gap, the thing that's missing. And to finish, you explain why your audience should care about filling that gap. What you're really doing here is you're setting up a mystery, and your research is the hero about to solve it. It's just great storytelling. I absolutely love this quote from Creswell because it just nails the whole idea. So many writers just, throw the reader into the deep end of the pool, right into a sea of jargon and dense data. But a great introduction, it does the opposite. It gently lowers them into the well, letting their eyes adjust before showing them the depths of what you found. All right, we've got the master blueprint for the whole intro. Now let's zoom all the way in. We're going to focus on the sharpest point, the very first sentence, the art of the hook. I mean, the name really says it all, doesn't it? A hook has one job, and one job only, to grab your reader and not let go, to make it impossible for them to stop reading. It's not about politely stating your topic. It's about lighting a fire of curiosity. It's that initial spark. If you take one thing away today, let it be this. All good research is storytelling. It really is. It's not just a pile of data. It's the story of a question, a problem, that gap in the literature. And that hook, well, that's your once upon a time. It's the signal that something interesting is about to begin. Okay, so how do you actually write one of these things? The good news is you don't have to just stare at a blinking cursor. Let's get practical. Here are 4 proven techniques that you can pull from your toolkit for just about any subject. So here's the whole shebang. You've got options. You can pull them in with a vivid anecdote, a little story. You can jolt them with a surprising statistic. You can get their gears turning with a provocative question, or you can throw them right into the middle of a big controversy. Let's take a look at how these actually work in the wild. Wow. I mean, that's just devastating to read. And that's exactly why it's so effective. The topic might be something academic sounding like the impact of mobile devices on pedestrian safety, right? But this story, this makes it gut-wrenchingly real. Suddenly, it's not about abstract data. It's about a boy named Christopher. You feel that emotional connection instantly, and you understand exactly what's at stake. Now, what's so clever about this question? This was for a study about IBM, by the way. It works because it doesn't give you any answers. It just presents this huge, fascinating challenge. It basically reframes the entire research paper as a quest. And now, as the reader, you're on that journey too. You want to stick around to find out if they could actually pull it off. And here, by showing you both sides of the stand-your-ground debate right from the get-go, the writer creates immediate tension. You feel the conflict. You understand the relevance. This isn't some dusty academic exercise. This research is happening right now as part of a really important and really heated national conversation. That creates an urgency you just can't ignore. Okay, so you've nailed that killer first sentence. Awesome. But we're not done yet. A great hook is just the start. Now, let's look at how you build out from that one sentence into a solid, powerful opening paragraph.
I mean, just look at the difference here. It's night and day, right? The before is fine, it's a statement, but the after, it takes that tragic story of Christopher Cepeda and uses it as a springboard. It connects the personal tragedy to the huge public health issue, and then, this is key, it justifies the whole study by pointing out the gap. This area is underexplored. Perfect.
So, let's wrap up with a quick checklist. Think of this as the final inspection. Did you get their attention right away? Check. Did you make the research problem crystal clear? Check. Did you lower them in gently instead of just dropping them in the deep end? Good. And on the flip side, avoid starting with long quotes, stay away from tired cliches, and please don't overwhelm them with technical jargon in the first paragraph. Your intro is like a handshake. Make it firm, confident, and inviting. And in the end, everything we've talked about really boils down to this one idea. Every piece of research has a story that only it can tell. It has a unique mystery to solve. So next time you sit down to write, don't just ask, what's my topic? Ask yourself this powerful question instead. What is the story that only my research can tell? Once you find that story, you'll have found your hook.